I'm Marilyn Minter. I'm a painter, a photographer, and a video artist. The last 3 videos I've made are made with a phantom camera, which is 2,500 frames per second. The god of strobes basically decides what the image is going to look like. The splash video was a commission from the Brooklyn Museum. And the other artists that they were commissioning were mostly commercial artists, very successful, very good commercial artists. And I knew they'd make really slick, beautiful ads. So I was trying to do the anti-slick, anti-tight image. I had to make a 5-minute video concerning high heels. And so I used a model that is a dancer. It was dangerous to dance in that silver liquid. And she was 250 pounds, and she picked out the shoes, and we have to repurpose them and put sandpaper on them and re-sew them so they were really, not falling apart. And we glued dog hairs to the bottom, and she put on acrylic toenails, and I had tattoos up and down her legs, even though you can't see that in our editing. We took a lot of it out. But I was really happy with it. I slowed it down, and I tried to make it as beautiful as I could, but having the most unattractive processes. Well, people know my work mostly from the very flashy, shiny jewelry or glamorous images. But I feel like at the same time I've always worked with what I think of as things that everybody knows, like pulling your socks down and you'll have lines, or dyeing your hair, what that looks like. And that was the purpose of the raw room. I've always worked with both elements constantly through my work, just making a picture of what we know is true, but no one's ever made that image before. In 2009, I started working behind glass, because so much imagery that we see is behind glass. And I just thought that that's how we perceive advertising. It's almost always protected. And I'm thinking in terms of when you're driving your car, and I'm thinking maybe it's a rainy night and the car lights are flashing on a bus stop ad or a billboard, or even ads in stores. And sometimes the ads have graffiti on them, on the glass, and sometimes the ads are old ads that they're waiting to take down and they're a little beat up. I don't really think it's interesting to make another pretty face or another good-looking ad. I just want to make a picture of what it's like to live in a world that you're constantly bombarded with images, and they're not necessarily precious anymore. Pink Caviar was a commission from MAC, the makeup company. My job was to take pictures of the eye makeup, and what I ended up doing is whenever the model was changing her makeup, I would ask her to come and lick glass between the shoots. And MAC didn't know I was going to do that, and they were really happy when MoMA bought it. They put it in the lobby of MoMA for over 1.5 years. And Madonna bought it, and it was on Sunset Boulevard, and it was in Times Square. So Pink Caviar has had a really nice life of its own. with the Phantom, I never knew. I never knew that there'd be this flick of the silver paint just licking one of the children's. And I mean, I couldn't have planned it. It was so beautiful. Babies do go these kinds of ecstasy and pleasure, and then there's one scene where one of the babies is getting flooded with the paint on top of their heads, and they look like they're going to die for a second, and then all of a sudden this terror disappears, and then there's pure joy because he's, oh, I lived. There are like blank slates of humanity that haven't been imprinted on yet. You never know what a baby's going to do. I really like that. I actually don't see anything. I just see what I want to make. I got a vision. I just make it. Someone else comes along and tells me what it means. I never think about it at all. But it does seem to be a thread through all my work, this kind of skewed glamour or beauty. But it was something I didn't really put together until, I was 40. We're working like crazy.